Welcome back to the Wizard Shop. We have another elusive repair for you guys to see if you can figure out. Let's get started. What do you guys think of the intro? We're trying a few things up and getting some new music in there. Let us know in the comments what you think about what you just heard. This is a 2019 Toyota Highlander, and we've got a pretty cool story with this. And the solution was relatively cheap, but the problem can be perplexing. But before we dive into this, I'll give you guys a few updates on some of the cars that are in the shop that you actually have seen in some recent videos. Then we'll show you what we found on this. Let's head on over to the Figaro. So you guys have seen the 91 Nissan Figaro in a recent video, and Grimes is neck deep in parts. He's got parts off the vehicle and getting things organized to go onto the vehicle. Are you having fun in Highlander land?
Yeah, it's honestly kind of a joy to work on. Everything's pretty clean and it's all straightforward and it's simple, and the owner was incredibly informative for us and left us a binder full of information. So this has been a big help because, well, they never brought these to the US and there's not that many of them here. So this is a good wealth of info.
Definitely. If you were to look this up in AllData or some service
wouldn't
databases,
exist.
no, it doesn't even exist. So anyways, I'll let you continue in your dive into the Figaro. It looks like you're having a good time.
Yeah, working on the transmission right now, getting a new filter fluid, all of that. And yeah, got exhaust, got all the mounts, got intake tubes, belts, timing belt, full tune-up, and yeah, and a steering rack and a radiator.
It'll be like a new car when you get done.
Yeah, it should be all right.
Alrighty, we'll have at it. This is a 1974 Jeep J10. It's one of their trucks that's built off of the same platform you'd see on the Grand Wagoneer or the Wagoneer. Really cool trucks. The customer just has some brake leaks or some issues going on with the brakes they want it checked out. And it's such a quick job, it just needs some brake lines and a brake hose. That's it, it's out of here. There's really not much to speak of, so it's not worthy of an entire video. It would be kind of boring. I don't know what I would talk about other than that. So, but anyways, let you guys take a quick peek at it, and as soon as these brakes are done, it's going to be gone. On to the next. This is the 01 Caravan or Intervan you guys just saw, where the AC system is basically just complete thing has failed. We got it all apart, and you can definitely tell the compressor is just shot, just broken. And we're clearing out all the system, getting the debris out, just going front to back, which it has rear AC, and getting everything freshened up anew, and she'll have nice cold air again. Bill, your Alfa Romeo is back again. This time it has some serious issues, and not with the engine, nothing major going on there, but it's got some issues with the ECM, we believe, and he's actually found a replacement to put in. We're just waiting on it to arrive. We can do some further testing. And poor little car. He loves this car. It's too bad that the previous owner literally had decades of skipped maintenance, and now Bill gets to get caught up on all that maintenance. It's unfortunate, but it's a really cool car. The VW Phaeton you guys have seen before. There's a video on that. There's actually a link in the description if you want to go check out that car. It was here just for a few other things to get it tidied up, and the customer is entertaining the idea of selling it. The 633 has those leaks we talked about, and the parts have actually arrived. As soon as we get time, we're going to jump on that and get the 633 crime scene investigation. No, that's not what that stands for, the CSI. But anyways, back to the Toyota. Like I mentioned, this is the 2019 Toyota Highlander. And for those of you who have tried to contact or have questions, hey, I'm looking at this GMC Acadia, should I buy it? The answer is hell no. This is what you should buy. So, well, I'm looking at a Hyundai or a Kia or an Explorer. No, no. This is what you should buy. So you got the question if I should buy this or that. Here's your answer. Right in front of me, this white, beautiful Highlander. This is your answer, what you should buy. You could also do a Corolla or a Camry or a 4Runner or a Lexus even, which is basically a Toyota. There's tons of models. It doesn't have to be a Highlander, but a newer Toyota, you really can't go wrong. These aren't designer. These aren't the prettiest cars on the road, the Toyotas. They're not, ooh, look at me. And a lot of people have bought these and say, but Car Wizard, they're so boring. Exactly. Perfect. They're boring because they don't break. Isn't that sad that if it's constantly in the shop, we find that to be a fun vehicle? It's exactly what people are looking for who don't have time to be in the shop all the time. So there's a very good car for you. But those of you who want fun vehicles like Bill with his Alfa Romeo, I'm happy to work on your car too. It helps you continue enjoying your car, and it helps us take care of payroll. Why is this car here? Every time they would go to the filling station, they were crossing their fingers because as soon as they would fill up, there's about a 50% chance that they'd go to start the car and it would crank, 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 crank. It wouldn't start. And when it did start, it was misfiring, running horrible. The VSC light was coming on, check engine light, all kinds of warning lights. They would drive home and it wouldn't be very much longer after a couple key cycles. It runs perfect. All the warning lights go away. And they would fill up again. Nothing would happen. It'd be happy. And after the third fill up, they would have their hand on the key, crossing their fingers, going, please start, please start. And of course, it acted up. It didn't want to start. All the warning lights are coming on. And they're like, you know what? I'm taking this to Omega. I don't know what's going on with this thing. So today we're going to play the game again. You guys have been enjoying that lately, so I'm happy to play the game with you. Based on what you just heard and what's wrong with this vehicle, I'm going to list 4 items of what it could be and let you guys decide in the comments what you think it is. Is it 1, a flaky cam sensor? Is it 2, a bad fuel pump? Is it 3, a bad ignition switch? Or is it 4, a problem with the evap system? I'll let you guys decide and let us know what you think it is. So while you guys are thinking about that and kind of getting an idea what you think it is, let's take a look around this really sweet Highlander. There is the beautiful front end of this Highlander. It actually looks pretty good. It has a similarity to a Lexus, but instead of being an hourglass, it's a trapezoid. Is that correct, Mrs. Wizard? A trapezoid?
Sure.
As far as the grille is concerned, but it's in very good shape. Very nice car. The paint is kind of a pearl white color. You can see that they must live on a dirt road. The tires have a little dust on them, which is fine. Let's go down the side. As you can tell, being a 2019 with not very many miles on it, it's in really good shape. So as you can see, it's XLE, which has some better features and things like that, creature comforts, and all-wheel drive, which means it's good for inclement weather. And quick peek down that side, you can see there's not much to speak of. It's like a brand new car. Let's head on under the hood.
Wizard, where's the engine?
It's down there. I've been seeing this a lot lately on newer cars. They're really raising the belt line pretty high, which the engine doesn't get higher, but everything around it, the surroundings, gets taller and taller and taller. Some of the newer trucks, the engine actually sits down in the engine bay. Kind of strange, but not much to see other. It says D4S V6. No muffler Newton. Thank you, Guy, for that. Appreciate that.
Every day.
Every day. I'm not impressed. Anyways, not much going on with the engine. No check engine lights or anything as far as major engine issues, but you can see something brand new right there. A little evap purge valve. Let's talk about what we found. So let's go over some of the options I just listed. Was it number 1, a flaky cam sensor? No, because the check engine light would stay on. It would sense that that's happening quite a bit. It would get erroneous readings. And it wouldn't just happen only at a fill-up. It would be at random times, random mornings. It would have nothing to do with filling up your tank with fuel. We did hook a scan tool and look for codes. Again, like I just showed you, as an evap code. There was nothing to do with cam sensors. Was it number 2, a bad fuel pump? And again, a fuel pump could act up at a fill-up, but usually they fail. But at other times it wouldn't fail. But when it did run, it ran perfect. So it's kind of It's possible, but no, it ended up not being a fuel pump. Was it number 3, a bad ignition switch? Again, the ignition switch doesn't care if you just put gas in your car or not. It's not going to fail only at that moment, so it's very likely not that. We scanned for codes and it had some issues with a purge valve, and it's actually a very common failure item on these. Luckily, it's a cheap part. It doesn't cost a whole lot other than the time to diagnose it, replace it, and the price of the part. It doesn't cost no $900 or $1,000 like a BMW or something. Here's our old purge valve. I'm going to blow through it. You will be able to hear air. You should not be able to. When the key is off, this thing should be closed solid. Nothing should be getting through. I'll blow through it and you can hear.
That's not a very good tune there, Car Wizard.
No, it's not like Rich Rebuild's flute playing, or actually Steve Vaughn's. I think he played the flute, but he was really good at it. I'm not. But so what does that have to do with fuel ups and all this stuff going on? So the way the evap system works is it only exists to contain fuel vapors when you're not driving, when you park your car. Back in the 60s and 70s, you go to Walmart, Kmart, or whatever on a really hot 100-degree day. You walk outside, hot asphalt, and it's almost, you can smell the picture. You can smell the fuel vapors from everybody's cars, the carburetors venting into the air, the fuel tanks venting into the air. And especially in your garage on a hot day. You just drove 100 miles, you park your car in the garage, it can literally stink up the garage. Also, not just the inconvenience of that, it's illegal. The United States government does not want all those vapors into the atmosphere. So something had to be come up with to contain those while you park your car. And that is what the evap system does. It shuts off all the valves and things that would allow fuel vapors to escape, and it contains them in a charcoal canister. And it just does that quietly until you start your car again. Then it opens and closes a few valves and sucks those vapors into the engine and gets rid of them, burns them. This system is used on just about every gas car made. So it's very common and pretty much the same setup on any car. A charcoal canister can fail on a BMW, a Toyota, a Range Rover. It doesn't matter. When they fail, you usually get check engine light, or you can even smell vapors, or the opposite, it won't let you fill up with gas because those vapors are supposed to go into there and something's wrong with it and it keeps clicking the nozzle. What was going on with this that after a fill up it wouldn't start? Well, like I just mentioned, this little valve should be closed with the key off. You should not be able to blow through it, which you can on this old one. So that means when they fill up with gas, all of those vapors that are supposed to go into the charcoal canister, they weren't going there. Guess where they were going? Into the intake manifold. I mean, flooding the entire intake with solid vapors. No oxygen, nothing, no gases other than just gasoline. Gasoline is very flammable, but without oxygen, it will do nothing. So, you go to start your car. It's looking for fuel-air mixture to start the car, but it's not getting a mixture, it's getting solid fuel vapors. And then, so it's not igniting, it's crank, 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 and then it finally starts, and some of the cylinders are not firing like they should, the mixture's all off. The computer sees misfires, it sees issues with the purge valve, it throws on the check engine light, which on a Toyota also does the VSC light, the ABS light, all kinds of things. Turn off your cruise control. But then it clears up. The computer notices that. After a few drive cycles, it says, okay, everything seems to be fine. I'll turn off the lights, the warning lights. A couple of fill-ups later, it does it again. That's basically the routine that they were going through, all because of this little purge valve. So like I just showed you where it's located, it's very easy to change out. It doesn't take 20 or 30 tools and hours of work. It's literally just right there, one bolt, some hoses and things, and it's very simple to replace. So we had diagnosis, some time to replace it, and the cost of the part. It really was not a big bill. That's one thing I like about Toyotas as well. No car is perfect. There is no car on earth that says, I will never break, it'll never happen. That car doesn't exist. So if something is going to fail, at least it's something cheap, and it was very easy to replace. They're back on the road. It'll be a long time before something else breaks. It's a Toyota. So hopefully that helps you guys understand a little bit what an evap system is and how you could get those symptoms, and maybe it'll click in your mind. You'll be like, oh, I wonder if it's something to do with that. And it very likely could be if you get some of those symptoms. Right after a fill up, you have all this trouble. If this happens to you, you could go to your local parts store. They could read the codes. They may be able to find, like we did, a purge valve issue, and you might be able to save some money. So hopefully it helps you out that way. But definitely before this car left, I wanted to let you guys hear the symptoms, see if you could guess what it was, and show you that it wasn't catastrophic, and how every repair in a shop doesn't have to be $7,000. So if you're curious what kind of tools we use to look into this and replace this little valve, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We really appreciate you guys. If you purchase anything, we get a small cut. Make sure to check out the description also below for the video on the Phaeton. Also, Mrs. Wizard's Ways, there's a link for that. You can go check out her new videos. And make sure to hit the subscribe button here as well, because there's many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching. Yeet!